Emerges empire. In a quiet corner of the galaxy, there lay a small space station known as Nova Haven. It was a place where travelers stopped for rest, and scientists studied the stars. Life on Nova Haven was simple, with people following their daily routines. However, one calm night, something unusual stirred in the depths of space. On the station's observation deck, a young explorer named Jalen sat by a large window. He was known for his curious mind and love for the unknown. That night, Jalen noticed a flicker of light on his screen, a strange signal coming from a distant region of space. The signal was weak at first, like a whisper from far away. But as moments passed, it grew louder and clearer, almost as if it was trying to speak. Jalen immediately reported his discovery to the station's control center. The crew gathered in a small room filled with blinking lights and humming computers. The captain, an experienced woman named Captain Mira, listened carefully as Jalen explained what he had seen. Her face showed a mix of worry and excitement. "This is not normal," she said in a low voice. "We must investigate this further." The station's scientists worked quickly to analyze the signal. They discovered that it was not a natural phenomenon, but something created by intelligence. The data hinted at a structure far beyond human design, a warship that did not belong to any known fleet. Rumors had long spread among the station's inhabitants about an ancient warship built with mysterious power, but many thought it was just a myth. Now the evidence began to point towards the truth of that legend. Outside the station, dark space stretched endlessly. Amid the stars, a shadow seemed to move slowly. No one could see its exact form, but the presence was unmistakable. The signal source was near an area known as the Silent Expanse, a place few dared to visit. It was said that the Silent Expanse was home to secrets of a lost empire, one that had once ruled with a mighty hand and had left behind relics of its glory. The signal was a call from the past, a message that the empire might be emerging once again. Captain Mira decided to send a small team on a scouting mission. Jalen was chosen to join this brave group. With simple but reliable ships, the team set off towards the area where the signal originated. The journey was quiet and filled with a tense anticipation. Each member of the team wondered what they might find in the vast darkness of space. As they moved closer, the signal grew stronger. It was a mix of beeps and tones that echoed like a forgotten song. Jalen and his team watched as a large, dark object came into view. Slowly, the outline of a massive warship emerged from the shadows. The ship was unlike anything they had ever seen. Its surface was old and scarred, yet it held a strange beauty. Glowing lines traced its curves, hinting at advanced technology hidden beneath its worn exterior. The warship did not move as the team expected. It seemed to float in space, suspended in time. Jalen's heart pounded as he realized that this was the legendary warship of old stories. A ship thought to be impossible, yet it now existed before their eyes. The signal continued, as if the warship was trying to communicate its story. The team felt a deep mix of fear and wonder. What secrets did this ancient vessel hold? And what was the source of the strange signal? Deep inside the ship, silent corridors and empty halls spoke of a once vibrant past. The crew wondered if the ship was a remnant of the long-lost empire that had once ruled vast regions of space. This empire, which had now begun to emerge from the shadows of history, was shrouded in mystery. Some believed that its power could reshape the future of the galaxy. Others thought that it was a warning from a time when ambition had led to ruin. Back on Nova Haven, word of the discovery spread quickly. People from all walks of life gathered to learn more about the ancient warship. News reports, simple yet filled with awe, described how a once mythical vessel had appeared in the dark void of space. The story ignited hope and fear in equal measure. Would the re-emerging empire bring a new era of peace and prosperity, or would it cast the galaxy into chaos once more? Jalen, standing on the observation deck of the ship, took a deep breath. He knew that their journey had only just begun. Every answer that he found led to more questions. The ancient warship was a key to the mysteries of the past, and perhaps to the future of humankind. The simple life on Nova Haven was now forever changed by the discovery of something extraordinary, a symbol of an empire that once was and might soon rise again. In that moment, the team felt united by a common purpose. They were not just explorers or scientists. They were witnesses to a turning point in history. The strange signal had opened a door to a new adventure, one that promised danger, discovery, and the chance to understand a power beyond imagination. As they prepared to step deeper into the unknown corridors of the warship, they carried with them a quiet determination to uncover its secrets and perhaps to shape the destiny of a re-emerging empire. Thus, in the vast silence of space, a new chapter began, a chapter filled with mystery, hope, and the promise of change. The journey into the depths of history had started, and nothing would ever be the same again. The legend unfolds. In the days that followed the discovery of the mysterious warship, the quiet life on Nova Haven slowly gave way to whispers and excitement. People gathered in small groups, sharing stories that had been passed down through generations. In every corner of the station, from busy cantinas to quiet research labs, talk turned to the legendary vessel and the ancient empire it represented. Jalin, the young explorer who first noticed the strange signal, spent many hours in the station's library and archives. He hoped to learn more about the warship that had suddenly emerged from the darkness. The station's records were old and sometimes difficult to read, but hidden among the dusty texts were tales of a once powerful empire. This empire was known for its great warriors, advanced technology, and mysterious secrets that stretched far beyond the stars. According to the old records, the empire had flourished many centuries ago. It was a time when mighty warships ruled the space lanes, and each vessel was a symbol of power and hope for its people. One of the most famous ships was said to have been built with a technology that defied the laws of nature. It was not just a machine of war, but a beacon of ambition and mystery. This ship, known in the old stories as the Eternal Vanguard, was believed to carry secrets that could change the course of history. Local elders on Nova Haven hold stories of the Eternal Vanguard as if it were a living legend. They spoke of brave heroes who had once set sail on its decks, embarking on dangerous missions to protect their people. They also recounted dark times when the Empire fell into chaos and the warships were lost in the vast, unforgiving void of space. These stories filled the hearts of the listeners with both pride and sorrow, and the warship became a symbol of what was lost and what could be regained. One evening, as the twin moons of Nova Haven rose over the station, Captain Mira gathered her team and the interested locals in the main hall. The room was filled with soft murmurs and anxious glances. The captain, with her calm and steady voice, began to recount the legend of the Empire. She explained that the warship they had found might be connected to that ancient time, a time when the boundaries of science and magic seemed to blur. Captain Mira described how the Eternal Vanguard was built by a group of brilliant engineers and fearless leaders. These pioneers had dreamed of a future where their people would live in peace and unity. They designed the warship not only to fight battles, but also to serve as a moving sanctuary, a place where knowledge and power were preserved. The vessel was said to have a core of light, a power source that could sustain life even in the darkest reaches of space. As the captain's words filled the room, Jalen's mind raced with images of the past. He imagined the clamor of busy decks, the brave faces of soldiers, and the soft hum of the ship's mysterious engines. The legend spoke of a time when every voyage was a step toward a brighter future. Yet it also reminded everyone of the dangers that come with great power. Many believed that if the secrets of the Eternal Vanguard were uncovered, they might unlock abilities that could both create and destroy. The legend also mentioned a hidden message, one left behind by the creators of the warship. This message was said to be a guide, a map leading to further mysteries buried in the fabric of space and time. Scholars believe that if one could decipher the message, it would reveal the path to the Empire's true power. But over time, the message had faded into myth, its true meaning lost to history. Now, with the warship resurfacing, Hope stirred that the message could be found once more. People of Nova Haven began to debate what the reappearance of the warship might mean. Some saw it as a sign of the Empire's return, a chance to bring back the glory of the past and restore balance in a troubled galaxy. Others feared that such power might lead to conflict and destruction if it fell into the wrong hands. Despite their differences, everyone agreed on one thing. The story of the Eternal Vanguard was not just a legend. It was a call to adventure, a spark that ignited dreams of discovery and change. In quiet moments, when the station was bathed in the soft glow of distant stars, Jalen would sit by his window and gaze into the dark. He wondered about the lives of those who had once sailed the Eternal Vanguard. What dreams had they held? What fears had they overcome? He felt a deep connection to these long-forgotten heroes and a strong desire to uncover their secrets. As days turned into nights and nights into days, the legend of the Eternal Vanguard grew. Every piece of evidence found on the warship seemed to echo the ancient tales. The glowing lines on its hull, the design of its corridors, and even the faint hum of its engines carried whispers of the old empire. It was as if the ship itself was alive, keeping its history close while waiting for someone brave enough to learn its story. In this way, the mysterious warship became a living bridge between past and present. The once distant legend was now real, sparking a new era of exploration and hope. People from all walks of life on Nova Haven began to see the potential for a brighter future, a future where the lessons of the past could guide them toward unity and progress. Thus, the legend of the Eternal Vanguard unfolded, inviting everyone to participate in a journey of discovery. The warship was no longer just a myth or a forgotten relic. It was a symbol of a lost empire and a promise that, even in the darkest times, hope and courage could light the way to a new beginning. Clues and discovery. After the legend was shared and the mystery deepened, Jalen and the team decided to explore the ancient warship more closely. They carefully boarded the vessel, stepping into a world frozen in time. The air inside was cool and quiet, and the only sounds were the soft hum of old machinery and the echo of their footsteps on the metal floor. At first, the team moved cautiously down long corridors lined with strange, glowing symbols. These symbols were not like anything they had seen before. They were etched into the walls in neat, precise lines that glowed faintly in the dark. Jalen carefully took pictures and made notes, thinking that these symbols might be a form of language, a hidden message left by the creators of the warship. In one of the large rooms, the team discovered a console with buttons and screens that still flickered with life. Even though the technology was old, the screen displayed a series of numbers and patterns. The team realized that this console might hold important clues about the ship's past. Captain Mira ordered one of the engineers to see if the console could be restarted properly. After a few tense minutes and many careful presses of buttons, the screen lit up fully, showing a map of the ship and a series of coordinates. The map was marked with several points of interest, such as a central chamber, a storage room, and a locked door that seemed to lead to the heart of the vessel. The team decided that the central chamber might be the key to understanding the ship. Jalen and his teammates moved in that direction, following the map's guidance. As they entered the central chamber, the group was met with a sight that made them pause. The chamber was large and circular, with a dome-shaped ceiling that featured a pattern of stars and constellations. In the center of the room stood a pedestal with a glowing crystal. The light from the crystal was warm and inviting, and it seemed to pulse with a gentle rhythm. Around the pedestal, walls were decorated with more of those mysterious symbols, some of which looked similar to those seen on the corridors. Jalen approached the pedestal carefully. He noticed that the crystal was embedded in a complex mechanism that might be used to power the ship or reveal further secrets. On one side of the pedestal, an inscription was engraved in simple symbols. With the help of a digital translator from Nova Haven, the team began to decipher the message. The translation was not perfect, but it hinted at a message of hope and unity from a long-lost empire. The words spoke of a core of light that could guide a people through the darkness of space. Jalen realized that the crystal might be this core, a symbol of the Empire's lost power. The discovery in the central chamber was just the beginning. Later, while exploring a dim corridor near the storage room, one of the team members, Lyra, found a small metal box hidden behind a loose panel. The box was old and covered in dust, but when Lyra opened it, she found a collection of items: a faded journal, a piece of a uniform, and a small medallion that shone with a soft glow. The journal belonged to a long-forgotten crew member of the Warship. In simple language, the journal told the story of the ship's journey and the values of the Empire that built it. It spoke of bravery, sacrifice, and the belief that knowledge was the greatest weapon of all. Each page of the journal was filled with clues about the ship's design and the hidden message mentioned by the legends. One passage described a hidden compartment in the lower decks that might contain the original records of the Empire. Another passage mentioned that the medallion was part of a key, one that could unlock deeper secrets within the warship. Jalen carefully collected these items, feeling that every clue was like a piece of a larger puzzle. The team continued to search, moving methodically from one section of the ship to another. In a narrow passageway, they found a wall with panels that could slide open to reveal a hidden room. Inside, there were rows of data cores, small devices that stored information. Although many were damaged by time, a few still contained readable files. With their portable data reader, the team began to download the information. What they found were logs, personal messages, and technical schematics that described the ship's construction and the philosophy behind its design. These files spoke of a desire to preserve knowledge and protect the people during dark times. As they gathered more clues, a pattern began to emerge. Every piece of evidence, the glowing symbols, the central crystal, the hidden journal, and the data cores, pointed toward a single purpose. The warship was not just a weapon of war, but a guardian of hope. It was built to store wisdom and power so that it could one day lead a people out of despair and into a new era of unity. The team ended the day with a meeting in one of the ship's quiet chambers. They laid out all the items they had found on a metal table. With simple diagrams drawn in the dust, they discussed how these clues might connect. Captain Mira noted that the medallion and the journal mentioned a hidden key that could activate a system in the ship. Jalen suggested that the central crystal might be the source of that key's power. Each clue deepened the mystery, but also made the purpose of the warship clearer. It was a relic of an ancient empire whose goal was to guide its people through hardship. Now, in this forgotten vessel, those hopes and dreams were waiting to be reawakened. With every discovery, the crew felt more connected to the past and more determined to unlock the warship's secrets. In the silence of that hidden room, the team understood that their journey was far from over. The clues were like stepping stones, leading them toward a truth that could change their future and the fate of their world. The ancient messages whispered promises of light in the darkness, and it was up to Jalen and his team to follow that promise into the unknown. The quest begins. After gathering the clues and uncovering the hidden messages within the warship, the team knew that they could not stand still any longer. The evidence pointed toward a deeper secret, one that lay in a part of the ship that was yet to be explored. It was time to begin a quest that would take them even further into the unknown. Captain Mira called a meeting in the ship's main chamber. The walls, still echoing with the whispers of the past, now served as a meeting place for a new plan. Jalen, Lyra, and the rest of the crew sat in a loose circle as the captain spread out the clues on an old metal table. There were maps, faded journal pages, and a small medallion that glowed softly. The items were simple, but each one held a promise of a secret waiting to be uncovered. Captain Mira began, "We have learned much from this warship, but there is still a mystery that calls us. Our clues hint at a hidden compartment deep in the lower decks, a place where the true record of this empire might be stored." Her calm voice made it clear that this was not just a wild guess, but a carefully thought-out plan based on the evidence they have found. Every member of the crew felt a mix of excitement and fear at the thought of what lay ahead. Jalen spoke next. He reminded the team about the central crystal and the glowing medallion. Both of these items seemed to be linked to the ship's power source. They might work together to open the door to the hidden area, he said. The idea was simple yet powerful. The ancient builders had left a key that only those who truly understood their message could unlock. This key, hidden in plain sight through the artifacts they had found, could be the very tool needed to access the secrets of the lower decks. With the plan in place, the team split into two groups. One group would continue to study the main areas of the ship, ensuring that nothing was overlooked. The other group, led by Jalen and a few brave souls, would venture into the lower decks. These levels were dark, rarely used, and full of unknown dangers. The corridors were narrow, and the air felt colder as they descended further from the central chamber. The journey into the lower decks was filled with tension. The team moved slowly, their footsteps echoing in the silent hallways. The walls were lined with old control panels and faded symbols that told stories of battles and sacrifices long past. Every corner they turned, every door they passed, added to the feeling that they were stepping into a forgotten world. As the group advanced, they encountered signs of the ship's former life. There were panels that still held the marks of hurried repairs and a few scattered belongings that suggested that the crew of the past had left in haste. The sense of abandonment was heavy, yet it was mixed with a feeling of anticipation. They were getting closer to the heart of the mystery. At one point, the group found a sealed door made of metal that looked much sturdier than the others. The door was covered in the same glowing symbols they had seen earlier, but here they formed a more complex pattern. Jalen and his teammates gathered around, their eyes fixed on the door. It was clear that this door was special. It was different from all the others they had encountered. Jalen took out the medallion, which had been glowing gently since they found it. With careful hands, he held it up against the door. In that moment, the symbols on the door began to change, reacting to the presence of the medallion. The air around them seemed to hum, and the door slowly creaked open, as if it were welcoming them to a long-hidden secret. The opening of the door filled the group with a mix of relief and nervousness. They had taken the first step on the next stage of their quest. Beyond the door was a small chamber, far less grand than the central chamber, but filled with rows of old data cores and sealed containers. This was the repository of the Empire's records, a treasure trove of history and secrets. The team set up their portable devices to begin reading the data. They found logs detailing the creation of the warship, the values and hopes of the ancient empire, and even warnings of past mistakes. The files were written in simple language, much like a diary, which made them easier to understand. Each log entry added a new piece to the puzzle. There were mentions of a final command and hints at a hidden mechanism that could be activated only when certain conditions were met. It became clear that the ship was not merely a relic, but a living archive of the past, built to protect the wisdom and strength of an empire that had once believed in unity and hope. While the team worked, Captain Mira kept in touch with the other group exploring the rest of the ship. Together, they pieced together the narrative of the warship, a story of triumph, loss, and the eternal search for light in dark times. Their discoveries in the lower decks were a turning point. Not only did they find proof of the ancient empire's intentions, but they also uncovered the promise of a new beginning, a new path that could guide their people through present and future challenges. In that moment, as the team continued to work with determination and care, the quest transformed from a search for relics into a journey of understanding. They were not just exploring a forgotten ship. They were unlocking the secrets of a lost empire, one clue at a time. With every step they took, the ancient message of hope and unity became clearer. The quest had begun, and there was no turning back. Trials and obstacles. With the hidden chamber unlocked and secrets slowly revealed, the crew faced a new challenge. The warship was not ready to give up its mysteries without a fight. As the team moved deeper into the vessel, unexpected dangers and hard trials began to emerge. The narrow corridors of the lower decks grew darker and colder. The air was thick with dust and silence, and every step echoed loudly against the metal walls. Jalen led a small group through these tight passages, each of them feeling the weight of history and uncertainty. Their portable lights barely pierced the darkness, and shadows danced along the walls in strange patterns. Soon, the group came upon a section of the ship where the power systems had long since failed. Flickering emergency lights cast weak glows over a maze of cables and rusted panels. As they tried to navigate through this area, a sudden flash of static electricity burst from a broken panel, startling everyone. One of the team members, a careful technician named Ryan, was nearly injured by the spark. This incident was a harsh reminder that the ship still held dangerous energy, a remnant of old power sources that were unstable and unpredictable. Undeterred by the mishap, Captain Mira ordered the team to continue. They soon reached a large room filled with old control consoles and navigation devices. Here, the true test of their resolve began. The consoles were old and worn, and many had failed long ago. Some screens flickered with distorted images, while others showed error messages that the team could not easily understand. It was clear that the ship's systems were damaged by time and neglect, and the team had to work carefully to restore any useful information. Ryan took charge of one of the consoles, trying to reboot it with spare parts from the ship's storage. His hand shook as he replaced a damaged circuit, knowing that one wrong move could trigger a failure. The console sputtered for a moment, and then came back to life, displaying a map of a critical part of the ship. This small victory was celebrated quietly among the team, but it also served as a reminder that many obstacles still lay ahead. While the technical challenges grew, emotional and physical trials also took their toll. In one narrow corridor, the group encountered a blocked passage where heavy debris had fallen from the ceiling. The weight of old machinery and forgotten cargo made it impossible to pass through without first clearing the path. The team worked together, carefully moving large panels and fragile equipment, all while keeping a lookout for any hidden dangers. Their faces were set in determined lines, but the effort slowed their progress and deepened the tension. Not long after, the team stumbled upon a room that seemed to have once been used as a crew quarters. The space was cramped, filled with old bunks and scattered personal belongings. Among the items was a worn-out diary, its pages brittle with age. When Lyra opened the diary, she found entries that told of a time when the crew faced similar trials. The diary spoke of fear, sacrifice, and the hope that kept them going through long nights. Reading these entries gave the team a moment of connection with those who had come before, but it also reminded them of the perils that could befall even the bravest souls. As they pressed on, a sudden tremor shook the ship. The ground beneath their feet vibrated, and a deep rumbling echoed through the corridors. The tremor was short but intense, enough to send small chunks of debris falling from the ceiling. The team quickly gathered together, their hearts pounding as they clung to the walls for support. Captain Mira's voice cut through the noise, calm but firm, instructing everyone to take cover and move to safer ground. This unexpected event left the team with a new sense of urgency. The warship was unstable, and every moment could bring a new hazard. After the tremor, the team discovered that part of the ship's structure had shifted. Some corridors were now blocked by collapsed beams, and new cracks had appeared in the walls. This physical barrier forced them to find alternative routes. Jalen led a small scouting group to map out these new paths, marking safe passages and noting areas that were too dangerous to enter. Their careful exploration was slow and cautious, each step taken with the awareness that the ship could collapse at any moment. In the midst of these trials, the team also faced internal challenges. Tension and doubt began to creep in as the obstacles mounted. Some members worried that the mission might be too dangerous, while others felt overwhelmed by the weight of history and the risk of failure. Yet even in these moments of doubt, the bond between them grew stronger. They encouraged one another with simple words of support, reminding each other that every obstacle was a test of their determination and courage. Each trial, whether it was a technical failure, a physical barrier, or a moment of fear, only deepened their resolve to uncover the warship's secrets. They learned to work together as one, sharing skills and insights in the hope that every small victory would lead them closer to the truth. The trials and obstacles they faced were not just challenges to be overcome. They were part of the warship's ancient legacy, testing the mettle of those who dared to seek its hidden wisdom. And so, with every difficult step, the crew moved forward. The path was fraught with dangers, but their hope was as steady as the dim lights that guided them through the darkness. In the heart of the ancient warship, trials and obstacles were many, yet each one brought them closer to understanding the true power of the lost empire. The shocking revelation. After overcoming many obstacles and piecing together the clues, the team finally reached a section of the warship that had remained hidden for centuries. This was a large, sealed chamber that lay beyond a heavy door, marked with intricate patterns and strange symbols. With careful effort and the medallion still in hand, Jalen and his team activated the door's mechanism. Slowly, it opened with a deep groan, as if the ship itself were waking from a long sleep. Inside, the chamber was vast and bathed in a soft, mysterious light. In the center of the room stood a large, circular console surrounded by rows of ancient panels and screens. The air was cool and filled with the scent of old metal and forgotten memories. The team stepped inside, their footsteps echoing across the smooth floor. Every member felt that they were on the brink of something extraordinary. The console in the center was unlike any other device they had seen. Its design was elegant yet simple, with a glowing core that pulsed steadily like a heartbeat. As the team gathered around it, Captain Mira carefully examined the surrounding symbols, which now seemed to tell a clear story. With a gentle touch, she pressed a sequence of buttons that matched the patterns they had seen on the medallion and in the earlier clues. The console responded immediately, and the room filled with a warm, pulsing light. In that instant, the hidden chamber transformed. The walls, which had been cold and silent, began to display images and messages from a long-forgotten past. Holographic scenes played out slowly in the air, showing the warship in its prime, a vessel that once sailed the stars, guided by a powerful empire built on hope and unity. The images told of brave explorers, peaceful meetings, and daring battles that shaped the course of history. It was as if the warship was sharing its own memories, revealing the true purpose for which it had been built. Jalen stared at the unfolding scenes in awe. He saw images of a vibrant crew working together, of leaders inspiring their people, and of a civilization that believed in the strength of knowledge and unity. The holograms also showed moments of struggle, dark times when the empire was under threat, and the warship was used to protect the innocent. Each image was simple, yet powerful, telling a story that transcended time. The team realized that this was not just a record of events. It was a message for the present, a call to remember and learn from the past. As the light from the console brightened, a final, clear message emerged, written in simple words across the wall in bold letters. The message read, "In unity there is strength. In hope there is light. Guard the legacy of our past and forge a future for all." The words resonated deeply with everyone present. It was a reminder that the ancient empire had believed in the power of community and shared dreams, and that the warship was built to carry that legacy forward. Captain Mira looked at her team with a mix of relief and determination. The revelation was shocking, not only because the warship was real, but because it held the truth about a forgotten era. The images, the messages, and the simple yet powerful words all pointed to one thing. This vessel was more than a machine of war. It was a beacon of hope, a guardian of ancient wisdom that could light the way in troubled times. The team spent long moments in silent contemplation, each person processing the weight of the revelation. The holograms faded slowly, but the message remained clear. The warship had been built as a safe haven during times of great turmoil. It was designed to preserve the knowledge, dreams, and aspirations of a people who had once believed in a brighter future. Now, that same hope was calling to a new generation. In the quiet aftermath, the team began to document everything they had witnessed. They saved the holographic files, recorded the console's output, and carefully noted every detail of the symbols and messages. They knew that these records were not only valuable historical artifacts, but also keys to understanding how to use the warship's power in the future. Each piece of data was a puzzle piece that could help restore lost knowledge and guide the path ahead. Jalen, standing near the glowing console, felt a deep sense of responsibility. The revelation had changed his view of their mission. It was no longer just about solving a mystery or exploring an ancient ship. It was about preserving a legacy that had the power to transform lives. He looked at his teammates, seeing the same fire of determination in their eyes. They had overcome many dangers to reach this moment, and now they knew that their journey was part of a much larger story, one that spanned centuries and was written in the language of hope and unity. The chamber, with its fading holograms and echoing silence, seemed to whisper promises of a future yet to come. The warship had shared its secret, and now it was up to Jalen and his team to carry that message forward. In that sacred space, they made a silent vow to guard the legacy of the lost empire and to help light the way for a new era of understanding and unity. Thus, the shocking revelation marked a turning point in their quest. The warship was no longer just an ancient relic. It was a living symbol of hope, a testament to the power of unity, and a guide to a future where the lessons of the past could build a better tomorrow. The new beginning. After the shocking revelation in the hidden chamber, the crew gathered to reflect on everything they had learned. The warship was no longer just a relic from the past. It had become a symbol of hope and unity. The ancient messages, the glowing crystal, and the carefully preserved records had all pointed to one truth. The legacy of the lost empire was meant to guide them into a new era. Captain Mira called the team together in the central chamber of the ship, a place now filled with a warm, reassuring light. Everyone's faces showed both relief and determination. They had come far and faced many challenges, and now it was time to decide what to do with this newfound knowledge. Jalen, still in awe of the ancient wisdom, spoke first. "We have seen the truth of the warship. It was built to save a people in dark times and to hold on to the hope of a better future. Now that hope is ours to protect and share." His words, simple but heartfelt, echoed through the room. The team agreed that the warship was more than a powerful tool or a piece of lost history. It was a guide for the future. They began to plan how to use the secrets they had uncovered. One idea was to share the ancient wisdom with the people of Nova Haven and beyond, so that everyone could learn from the lessons of the past. The message of unity and hope was clear. Together, people could overcome any challenge. Captain Mira suggested that they start by restoring the warship to a safe and working condition. "If we can repair the ship's systems and secure its records, we can create a beacon of knowledge for all," she said. The plan was simple. Use the ship as a library of wisdom, where anyone in need could come to learn about the past and find guidance for the future. The crew divided their work. Some members stayed on the warship to work on repairing the damaged panels and restoring the old technology. They cleaned the corridors, replaced broken circuits, and studied the ancient files to understand how everything worked. Others returned to Nova Haven with copies of the holographic messages, journal entries, and technical schematics. Their task was to share the story of the warship with the community and to explain how it could help them build a better tomorrow. As days turned into weeks, the warship slowly transformed from a forgotten relic into a place of new beginnings. In the heart of the vessel, the central console was repaired, and its soft light now shone steadily, symbolizing a renewed promise. The crew held regular meetings to discuss progress, share ideas, and celebrate small victories. Each repaired system and each restored record felt like a step toward a future built on the lessons of history. News of the warship's revival spread throughout Nova Haven. People gathered in the main hall to hear about the journey of Jalen and his team. Simple speeches were given, and the ancient story was retold in clear, basic language so that everyone could understand. The story was not just about an old warship. It was about a community coming together, facing challenges, and finding strength in unity. In a grand ceremony on the station's observation deck, Captain Mira officially announced the opening of the warship as a public archive and learning center. "This ship holds the wisdom of our past," she said, her voice firm yet kind. "It reminds us that even in our darkest hours, hope can shine through. Let us use this legacy to guide us and to build a future where we all stand together." Jalen, standing beside her, felt the truth of those words deep in his heart. He remembered the long nights spent studying the holograms, the moments of fear in the dark corridors, and the overwhelming sense of responsibility when the hidden message was revealed. Now, as he looked out at the gathering crowd, he saw not just faces filled with wonder, but also a community ready to embrace a new chapter. The ship became a symbol of resilience and transformation. Families, students, and elders visited to learn about the lost empire and its values. Teachers used the records to inspire lessons on history, unity, and courage. The Warship, once a mysterious and intimidating relic, was now a living classroom, and a reminder that the past can light the way forward. In the weeks that followed, the renewed spirit of Nova Haven began to influence even those beyond its walls. Other space stations and nearby colonies heard the story and sent envoys to see the restored ship. The message of hope and unity spread like a gentle wave, reminding everyone that, despite the challenges of a vast and sometimes harsh universe, together people could overcome any hardship. As the warship stood silently in the space station, its panels gleaming softly and its systems humming with restored life, it served as a beacon, a promise that from the ashes of a lost empire, a new beginning was possible. The crew's journey had transformed not only the ship but also the hearts of those who believed in a better future. The legacy of the ancient empire was now a living part of their own story. Thus, a new era began, one filled with hope, determination, and the simple belief that united, humanity could reach for the stars and build a future where the light of knowledge and unity would never fade.